Welcome back, everybody. This is Wedded Whispers. I'm your host, DJ Willie D. Man, I told you this response was coming, and I got to get this out. It's been a bit of a week, to be honest, but we are going to get this done. And just to kind of preface this, if you've been anywhere near wedding social media for the past week, maybe week and a half, depending on how plugged in you are, you've seen um, or heard about the controversy around Vogue's The Real Budgets of Vogue Weddings publication. Effectively, this publication promised to finally give couples. Sorry, I got something in my eye. they pro- they promised to finally give couples the line by line pricing transparency, but then they took this supposed tell all and locked it behind a paywall. Think about how absolutely cynical that is. They took couples who are already stressed about their budgets and essentially said, pay us a subscription fee and then we'll give you the truth. But here's what really adds insult to injury here. And what we're going to unpack a little bit today is when you hand them that money to cross the paywall, you don't even get the truth. You're paying real money to look at budgets where massive venues are secretly paid for by wealthy relatives, and the photos that the magazine openly admits don't match the math. So you've got the article, and then you've got the math, and you've got the photos that go along with it, and the photos are there admittedly and for illustrative purposes only, and they're right up front about that. So they're lying to you, and they're telling you they're lying to you in a publication that's supposed to give you facts. I don't get it. But today we're going to talk about why the corporate wedding machine is fundamentally incapable of giving you real, true pricing, and why you're literally paying them to lie to you. Let's get into it. So the biggest the biggest magazines in the world are literally putting fake numbers behind paywalls. So where are couples to go for the truth? Where are couples to go for the actual numbers, what it really is, what it really is not? So let's talk about the reality of the industry. The corporate wedding machine is fundamentally built on selling an aesthetic, making them functionally and entirely incapable of disseminating real world pricing. It's just never going to happen. And I think to expect such a thing is to effectively lie to ourselves. As seen in this recent Vogue fallout, they'll place $1 million aesthetic next to a modest budget, openly admitting that the photos are purely for illustrative purposes. They're selling a vibe, not a spreadsheet. The corporate media today regularly omits massive realistic costs to make luxury look achievable, and they're kind of filling a void that couples have always wanted. They see these things on social media, and social media has really bred this. And if you'll forgive me, I'm going to go on several side quests throughout this podcast. I've got kind of a script here laid out to keep me on track, but I'm going to take several side quests through this. But so the photos are to sell a vibe, and this is created by our own social media, by our own doing, really, not as vendors, but as the wedding industry and couples in general. They go to these social media at side quest number one. I'm gonna eventually lose count of these side quests, but side quest number one, couples, brides specifically, at some point you have to stop looking at those inspo pages. You can't keep going and keep going and keep going. At some point you have to call it. Okay. And I'll get to why here in a little bit. So all these big publications, they're presenting these sprawling estates owned by wealthy relatives, or maybe the aunt, as this Vogue um, piece put out. And they're pitching it as a standard backyard wedding, which is incredibly deceptive because it completely removes the venue cost from the equation. And this trickles down to everything you see online. Welcome to the Pinterest illusion, which I alluded to earlier. Illusion. Couples are they're building these big expectations based on styled shoots where vendors provide services for free, effectively, to build their portfolios. The costs are not real world costs. So how do you actually vet your budget if you can't trust the magazines and you can't trust social media? Well, step one, use it for the vibe. All your inspo pages, all your Pinterest boards, use it for the vibe, not as a blueprint. Because if you're using Pinterest and your inspo boards for blueprints, you're going to miss. Unless your budget is miles deep, you're going to miss. So instead of saying necessarily, I want this exact photo, identify the feeling, identify the vibe. Is it romantic? Is it high energy? Is it modern? Is it chic? Identify that. And step two is asking the magic question. I've put this out there before. Instead of handing your vendor a Pinterest photo and saying, I want this, maybe approach it a little differently and say, we love the vibe that this is given. How do we achieve something as similar as possible within our budget? Because at the end of the day, every budget is different. Every couple's vibe is different. Everything is different from wedding to wedding to wedding. Help your vendors achieve your specific vibe on your specific budget. Set the guidelines, because at the end of the day, money is always the matter. Moving on. We need to pivot to professionalism. And that's going to bring me to my final point on this podcast. Transparency should be the standard, not a premium feature locked behind a paywall. So when you're looking for your vendors, especially for your DJ, you need to look for people who are upfront with you. And that's exactly why I operate the way I do. I don't hide my costs behind some vague get a quote button that dumps you into a high pressure sales funnel. When you inquire with me, you get my prices top to bottom, all the things in one nice little package. There's no gotchas, there's no wondering. Everything is right there. There's no constant emails. If you decide to go a different direction, hey, I'm happy for you. I wish the best for you. If you wish to proceed with me, we'll set up a discovery call and we'll chat and we'll figure out those pain points for you, what you want specifically, what your vision is, and we'll move forward. There's nothing salesy. There's nothing hidden with vendors that you can trust. So when you hire good DJs specifically, you're going to get somebody who's hopefully in demand. They're professional with you from start to finish. They're going to show up. They're going to read the room. They're going to, make that dance floor look like the vision that you have in mind. No illustrative pricing, just real, honest value. That's what you're looking for your in your vendors. Every vendor, not just the DJ, but every vendor. So if you're tired of the smoke and mirrors, which all of us are, and you want a vendor team that actually has your back, start asking the harder questions. Stop trusting the aesthetics and start trusting the pros. If you're planning your wedding and want a DJ who tells you the truth and throws an unforgettable party, head over to the show notes, hit me up. My email's over there. You can find me on social media. But that's not what this podcast is for. But your vision is where everything starts and ends. Finding vendors that can hear your vision and find actionable ways to execute your vision as a team, that's that's all any couple wants, and that's all every couple deserves. And at the end of the day, when you hire that right team, that good team that's going to find those actionable ways to execute on your vision, you will find absolute trust, and your day will be set at another level of ease that other couples don't even understand. But side quests done, podcast done. That's all I've got for you today on Wedded Whispers. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you find favor with what I'm doing here on this podcast, if you would please share it with somebody that's in their their wedding planning season. If you really appreciate what I'm doing here, hit that subscribe button. You can find me on YouTube and Spotify. I've been off of Spotify for a while now. Um, Now they've got some things sorted out, I'm going to start migrating all of these missed episodes over to Spotify. So you'll have both platforms, YouTube and Spotify, to check these out. Thank you so much. Leave me a review. And as always, I will see you between now and then.